You're watching WLEX-TV 18.
How to keep tobacco out of the hands of kids was the topic today for about 40 Kentucky retailers. Among other things, retailers learned at a training session how to say no to someone under 18 or risk breaking the law. Patrick Hicks of the 5 Kentucky Grocers Association says it'll take a culture change.
The responsibility belongs to everyone, and Senate Bill 137 requires that responsibility. It requires it of the retailer, and it requires it of the tobacco companies, and it requires it of the purchaser.
Kentucky's tobacco law went into effect last March, but regulations on how to enforce that law have only recently been drafted.
You're watching WLEX-TV 18.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Tom Kenny.
And I'm Robin Rabbit. Kentucky retailers are ready to get tough on teen smokers. About 40 retailers attended a training session on how to say no to minors trying to buy cigarettes. Those attending the 2-hour course believe the potential fines will be the best way to discourage selling cigarettes to minors. Sales clerks can be fined up to $500 for selling cigarettes to anyone under 18. State officials say they'll hire minors to do undercover stings on stores suspected of breaking the law. For retailers who could be slapped with those fines, the teen smoking law is serious business. Linda Wager spoke with one man who sells cigarettes. He's making sure that teens looking for a smoke don't look to him.
David Brantley doesn't smoke, but he deals with people who do every day. Brantley's employees smoke, and many of his customers smoke. So David Brantley knows it's not going to be easy enforcing a law that makes it illegal for teens to buy cigarettes.
We've had a couple customers that have gotten upset because they had to show their ID.
But David Brantley says that's okay.
I'm against smoking, and especially for teenagers or kids or younger.
Brantley says a training session helped him understand how the law works and what will happen if one of his workers sells cigarettes to a minor.
If I don't train them, what I got out of it is that I end up getting the big fine. But if I train them and then they don't check, well, then they get the fine.
Brantley says the only part of the law he doesn't agree with is the prohibition against children buying cigarettes for their parents. Brantley says he knows a lot of his customers.
The hardest part for me is to tell him to tell his mom that she has to come in here and get the cigarettes. Now that, to me, I don't see much sense in that.
But Brantley says he has no intention of paying a $500 fine.
I mean, I got a business here. It's not worth it.
Brantley's determined to make his gas station a place teen smokers avoid. In Corinth, Linda Wager, 18 Action News.
You're watching WLEX-TV 18.
Here's an unusual summer job for minors here in Kentucky. Work for the state in an undercover sting operation by trying to buy tobacco products in stores. You see, there's a new state law that's supposed to make it tougher for anybody under the age of 18 to buy cigarettes, and the state wants to test it out. Now, under the law, if business owners like David Brantley or his employees sell tobacco products to a minor, they could get fined up to $500. Now, Mr. Brantley doesn't think minors should smoke, but he doesn't agree with the part of the law that says kids can't come in and buy for their parents.
Hardest part for me is to tell him to tell his mom that she has to come in here and get the cigarettes. Now that, to me, I don't see much sense in that.
Mr. Brantley says he has no intention of paying a fine. He's determined to make his gas station a place teen smokers avoid.
You are watching WKYT, where gold medal coverage is a proud tradition. 27 News First. Sports with Dick Gabriel. Weather with meteorologist Brian Collins. And with the news, Bill Bryant and Barbara Bailey. 27 News First at noon.
Teenagers buying tobacco products. It's illegal in most states, including Kentucky. And that has nearly 60 retailers in Lexington today learning how to prevent teenage smoking. The seminar follows the national We Card program. That program urges retailers to identify anybody under the age 25 who wants to buy cigarettes or other tobacco products.
You're watching WKYT, where gold medal coverage is a proud tradition. 27 News first. Weather with meteorologist Cindy Pressler. And with the news, Sam Dick and Barbara Bailey. 27 News first at 5.
Selling tobacco to teenagers is illegal, but many will tell you they buy it anyway. Now a new state law aims to stop that. Todd Dyke shows us how.
I'm sorry, it's against the law for me to sell you cigarettes. You're underage.
If you're a teenage cigarette smoker, that may be a familiar refrain. Now retailers statewide hope that refrain will be heard at every store that markets tobacco products.
We sell about all kinds of tobacco, cigarettes, cigars, snuff, chewing tobacco.
David Brantley is one of dozens of retailers interested in learning how to curb tobacco sales to minors. Brantley knows how tempting it is to sell a pack of smokes to young people, especially those he's known for ages.
I knew the road they lived on, so they had to walk 3 or 4 miles out. And they come in, and I had to refuse to sell because they wasn't old enough. I hated to do it, but then, I mean, that was the law, so that's what I done.
Senate Bill 137 to be exact.
This is part of the law.
That law was enacted this spring. Not only does it increase enforcement, it also ups the ante for those caught selling tobacco products to minors.
As the old saying goes, when you dip into people's pocketbooks, you get their attention a lot quicker, and so this has helped tremendously.
It's estimated that 3,000 U.S. teens take up the habit daily. Many start by buying packs illegally. Now retailers are being asked to extinguish that habit by requiring proper identification.
It will send a message to Washington that, hey, Kentucky is a tobacco growing state, but they're also serious about this teen and tobacco program.
But only if the state's retailers can force their employees to take the program just as seriously. In Lexington, Todd Dykes, 27 News First.
Underage undercover agents will be used in string operations checking enforcement of the new law. Stores that sell tobacco to minors can be fined up to $500.
You're watching News Channel 36 at 5 with Sky Yancey and Susan Parsons, and weather with Brad James.
Get caught selling tobacco products to minors, and Kentucky store clerks could be fined by the state. Their boss might even fire them. The pressure is on retailers to obey the law or else. Dan Dixon reports on a training seminar to help clerks dodge trouble.
You have an ID, ma'am?
If she looks 25 or younger, Kentucky store clerks are urged to check ID to make sure tobacco buyers are at least 18.
You're a youngster.
Clerks could be fined $50 by the state if they mess up or suffer a worse fate from their boss.
Me being an employee, if caught and not IDing, we can be suspended, and the second offense can be terminated. So the liability is really on us to do the job that we're supposed to do.
Clerks selling tobacco products to minors.
Store clerks from around the state are attending seminars like this one, put on by the State Agriculture Department, Alcoholic Beverage Control, and Kentucky Grocers. A training video helped.
Come on, it's just a pack of cigarettes.
I can't. The state law says you need to have a valid ID. I'm sorry, but I could lose my job.
The seminar teaches clerks how to check for IDs, what to do if somebody under 18 tries to buy tobacco products, what they should do if somebody over 18 is trying to buy for somebody who's too young to have them, and even how to handle abusive customers. Many customers are giving clerks a rough time over tobacco sales.
They get aggravated, they yell at you and scream at you. So that's the pressure that's coming from, you know, they come back with, I can get them anywhere else. In a lot of places they can.
How you doing?
So some clerks may earn Purple Hearts on the job, but the alternative, risking a fine from the state or losing their job altogether. In Lexington, Dan Dixon, News Channel 36.
Thank you. In the next few months, more seminars on teen tobacco sales will be offered to store clerks around the state.
watching News Channel 36 at 6 with John Lindgren and Sky Yancey. Weather with Brad James and sports with Kenny Rice.
The Brown & Williamson Tobacco Company isn't the only one feeling the heat. Now that the state is cracking down on the illegal sale of tobacco to minors, Kentucky clerks are also feeling it. You must be 18 to buy tobacco. An association of stores is reminding clerks to check for IDs. Some of those clerks have been attending training seminars like this one today in Lexington. They're learning how to handle teenagers who try to buy cigarettes, adults who buy for kids, even abusive customers who don't like the crackdown. Clerks could be fined $50 if they knowingly or carelessly sell tobacco to minors, or they could be fired by their employers. The federal government has threatened to withhold federal grants to states that don't crack down on underage smoking.
You're watching Good Morning Kentucky on News Channel 36 with Dan Dixon and Barbara Gibbs. And weather with Alan Harkins.
Employees of stores that sell tobacco products are getting some help as Kentucky cracks down on illegal sales to minors. You must be 18 years old to buy tobacco. Some of those clerks have been attending training seminars like this one in Lexington. They're learning how to handle teenagers who try to buy cigarettes, adults who buy for kids, and even abusive customers who don't like the crackdown. Clerks could be fined $50 if they knowingly or carelessly sell tobacco to minors, or they could be fired by their employers. I believe that's $500. The federal government has threatened to withhold federal grants to states who do not crack down on underage smoking.
You're watching Good Morning Kentucky on News Channel 36 with Dan Dixon and Barbara Gibbs. And weather with Alan Harkins.
Rescue crews searched the waters off Long Island for the crash victims of TWA Flight 800. Good morning, Kentucky. I'm Barbara Gibbs. People who sell tobacco products are learning about a new Kentucky law designed to crack down on sales to minors. A seminar going on in Lexington is teaching these clerks that undercover and underage agents from the state will be used in sting operations. The state has recruited non-smoking teens to pose as potential tobacco buyers. Clerks who sell to minors and get caught face a $500 fine. Store owners also can be fined for not training their clerks on how to ID underage buyers and for failing to post notice of the law.
You're watching Fox 56 10 o'clock news with Marvin Bartlett, Melanie Glasscock, weather with AMS meteorologist Cindy Pressler, and sports with Dave Baker. Fox 56 10 o'clock news.
A new state law is cracking down on tobacco sales to minors. While selling tobacco is illegal, many will tell you it happens anyway. Senate Bill 137 is aimed to stop it.
It gives us more teeth than we ever had in the law before, and it also raised the fines and penalties from an average of $10 to $25, what the old fines was, to new levels of $100 to $500 for each violation.
Underage undercover agents from around the state are being used in sting operations to check enforcement of the new law. Stores that sell tobacco to minors can be fined up to $500.